All right, let's dive into the exciting world of coaching and teamwork, all through the lens of English. We've got a mountain of research here, and you wouldn't be here if you weren't interested. So are you ready to decode the playbook for some winning communication, both on and off the field?
And what's really fascinating is how these insights go way beyond sports. Leading a project at work, nailing a group presentation, it all comes down to great communication. And we're going to give you the tools to do just that.
It's like having that secret weapon for teamwork, right?
Absolutely.
But before we jump into the how-tos, I'm curious, why do you think this specialized vocabulary is so important in coaching?
Wow.
Every sport seems to have its own unique lingo, almost like a secret language.
It's like, imagine a surgeon trying to explain a complex procedure, but without using medical terminology.
Oh, yeah.
Total chaos, right?
Yeah.
Specialized language is crucial for clear, concise communication, and, sports are no exception.
It's like everyone's got to be on the same page, speaking the same language to really click.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly. When everyone's on the same page with the terminology, it streamlines instructions, feedback, and strategy execution. Efficiency and precision, that's what we're talking about, especially when the pressure's on.
So let's break down some of those essential terms that we'd hear echoing across any practice field. Words like drill, strategy, formation, and playbook. These seem to be the foundation for building a winning team.
You got it. Let's take drill, for example.
Right.
It's basically a targeted exercise to sharpen a specific skill. Picture a basketball team practicing those free throws over and over. Boom, that's a drill.
Okay, so how about strategy? Is that the overall game plan, the big picture?
You got it. Strategy is all about that roadmap to victory. Think of a soccer team deciding to play defensively to really frustrate their opponents. That's their strategy.
Okay, that makes sense. So then where does formation fit in?
Formation. That's how the players are actually arranged on the field. A classic example is the 4-4-2 in soccer, which tells each player exactly where to be.
Got it. So strategy sets the direction, and formation is how you execute it on the field.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And the playbook, as you mentioned, holds all those strategies in place, kind of like a chef's recipe book, but for, athletic success.
So it's like the team's secret weapon, the playbook.
Exactly.
Now, each sport does seem to have its own unique set of terms,
Absolutely.
almost like a secret language for that specific game. Are you ready for a little rapid-fire round of sports-specific jargon?
Bring it on. I'm ready.
All right, let's kick things off with soccer. How about tactics, possession, and set piece? What do those really mean when you're watching the game?
Okay. Tactics are the specific maneuvers within a team's broader strategy. So, for instance, a team might decide to play defensively, that's their strategy, but their tactic might be to use a high press to win back the ball quickly.
So tactics are the specific actions you take to make that strategy work.
You got it. Then there's possession, which is all about controlling the ball, crucial for dominating a soccer game. And lastly, a set piece is a pre-planned play after a stoppage in the game, like a free kick or a corner kick. Those can get pretty exciting.
Yeah, I can see why. All right, let's move on to basketball. How about terms like pick and roll, zone defense, and fast break? I hear these all the time, but I could use a refresher.
Okay, the pick and roll, a classic play. It's where a player sets a screen for their teammate who has the ball, creating an opening for a shot or a pass.
Okay, now that you say it, I can totally picture it. Now, what about zone defense? Is that where players guard certain areas on the court instead of specific opponents?
You got it. It's a defensive strategy where each player is responsible for their designated zone. And a fast break happens when a team grabs possession and races down the court to try and score before the defense can set up. It's a lightning-fast counterattack.
It's all about speed, seizing that opportunity.
Oh.
Okay, last one. We're going for a touchdown with American football. Let's decode blitz, huddle, and audible.
Okay, picture this. The defense sends extra players charging toward the quarterback to disrupt the play. That's a blitz.
It's like that sudden surge of pressure.
Exactly.
So then a huddle, isn't that when the team gathers together to discuss their next move?
Exactly. It's that iconic moment where the team huddles up to plan their next play. And an audible happens when the quarterback actually changes the play at the last second, usually based on what he sees from the defense.
So it's like they have a secret signal to adapt to the situation.
Exactly. And, this really highlights a key point. Communication and coaching and teamwork goes beyond just knowing the right words. It's how those words are used, the strategies behind them, the way information flows between players and coaches.
That's a great point. It's not just about the words, but the bigger picture. how they work together to get the win.
Exactly. It's like having all the right ingredients, but you need the skills and the know-how to actually turn them into something special.
So let's move on to those strategies and techniques that really elevate communication. Because knowing the lingo is just step one, right?
Absolutely. It's about using those terms effectively to build a solid team, foster clear communication, and ultimately achieve victory, both on and off the field.
So where do we even begin when we talk about effective communication? It seems like there are so many different approaches.
Well, a good place to start, no matter what, is with clear instructions. Imagine trying to explain a complex play to your team. If your instructions aren't clear, well, the execution's going to suffer.
That makes total sense. But how do you make sure instructions are clear, especially when you're dealing with a whole team of different personalities?
Keep it simple, be direct, avoid jargon or super complex language, especially when you're working with less experienced team members. Instead of saying, utilize a triangular passing sequence to exploit the flanks, you could just say, pass the ball to the left wing.
Much easier to understand.
Right. Straight to the point.
So it's about meeting your team where they are, using language they understand.
Exactly. And never underestimate the power of a little positive reinforcement. A well-timed great pass or excellent hustle can go a long way.
Yeah, I can definitely see how that would encourage players to keep pushing and give their best.
It creates a really supportive environment. That encouragement can be huge for a team. And on the flip side, active listening is just as important. Coaches need to really understand their players' perspectives, their concerns, and their feedback.
That's like a two-way street, that communication where everyone feels like their voice matters.
Absolutely. Active listening goes beyond just hearing the words. It's picking up on those nonverbal cues, asking questions to clarify, showing empathy, and ultimately building that trust and understanding.
You mentioned nonverbal cues, and that brings to mind the unspoken language of a game. It's like there's a whole other conversation happening through gestures and body language.
It's amazing how powerful those cues can be. They communicate emotions, intentions. You can even give tactical instructions without saying a word. A simple thumbs up from a coach can give a player a boost of confidence, or a hand signal can communicate a play in an instant.
It's like their own secret language, only the team understands.
Exactly. And a coach's own body language, that can have a huge impact on the team's energy and focus. A coach who's visibly engaged and excited, that can really inspire the players, but if they're slouched over, it might send the message that they're not really invested.
Makes you think about that concept of team chemistry. That's something that separates the good teams from the truly great ones.
Building team chemistry is a complex process, but communication is at its core. It's about creating that foundation of trust, respect, and a sense of shared purpose.
So how do you actually build that chemistry? Are there activities or specific strategies that work?
Team building activities can be a game changer. Whether it's a trust fall or even just team dinner, it's about giving players that chance to interact and bond outside of their usual roles on the team.
It's about breaking down those walls and building personal connections.
Exactly. And open communication is key. Encourage those players to share their thought and ideas both on and off the field. That creates a sense of ownership and lets everyone contribute beyond just their specific position.
And of course, celebrating those wins, big or small, to keep the momentum going.
Absolutely. Recognizing achievements, individual and team wins, that creates a sense of accomplishment and keeps everyone motivated.
It makes me think about those legendary coaches, the ones who've really mastered leadership and communication, the names that instantly come to mind.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Think about someone like Sir Alex Ferguson, that iconic Manchester United manager. His teams were known for that resilience, that ability to pull off those last-minute victories, just incredible.
It's like they knew they could win no matter what. What was it about his leadership that created that?
Ferguson was all about discipline, hard work, and never giving up. He built a culture of excellence that just permeated everything, from training to game day. His players knew what was expected of them, and they were driven to meet those expectations.
Such a powerful example of how a coach's communication and leadership can shape the entire team culture. Are there other coaches who stand out to you?
Definitely. Greg Popovich, the architect of that San Antonio Spurs dynasty. Known for his strategic brilliance, but also for his commitment to those players and building a really tight-knit team.
He seems to have this incredible ability to get the best out of each player. And it's not just in men's sports. Look at Jill Ellis, the former coach of the U.S. women's national soccer team. Her leadership was crucial to those back-to-back World Cup wins.
Jill Ellis is a perfect example of a coach who believes in open communication and empowering her players. She created a space where everyone felt valued, respected, and empowered to really contribute their talents to the team's success.
It's inspiring to see how these coaches, with their different styles, all achieved incredible success by understanding that power of communication, setting clear expectations, and working together toward that shared vision.
And you know what's really great? These principles aren't just for the elite, they're for everyone. There are tons of resources and techniques out there to help coaches of all levels step up their game and build those stronger teams.
It's not just about natural talent, it's about honing those skills.
Exactly. And some of these techniques are pretty cutting edge, using technology and data to really dive deep into team dynamics and individual performance.
So we're talking like next level coaching strategies now.
Yeah, exactly. One really powerful tool that's becoming more and more common is video analysis. Coaches can actually break down plays, spot strengths and weaknesses, and give super specific feedback by reviewing game footage.
So it's like having a replay of the game, but with an expert there to point out all the things you might have missed in the moment.
Exactly. It gives you a much deeper understanding of what worked, what didn't, and how to improve. And then there's something called periodization, which is basically strategically planning those training cycles to get peak performance and prevent burnout.
So it's about finding that balance, pushing your team, but also giving them enough rest and recovery time.
Exactly. You want to tailor the training intensity and volume to the demands of the season, making sure your players are at their best when it matters most. And then there's sports psychology, which focuses on the mental side of performance.
That's an aspect we don't always think about, but it makes sense. Being mentally strong is just as important as physical ability, right?
Absolutely. Techniques like visualization, goal setting, and mindfulness can really help athletes build mental toughness, manage stress, and improve focus. And more, coaches are turning to data-driven decision-making, using stats and analytics to track performance, identify trends, and shape their strategies.
So it's like taking all those numbers and actually turning them into useful insights.
Exactly. Data can often reveal things you might not see right away, allowing coaches to make smarter choices about lineups, training plans, even those split-second decisions during a game. You know, it's been great diving deep into this with you, and whether you're coaching a team, leading a project, or just navigating those group dynamics, these insights can give you a real edge.
For sure, but with so many different approaches and techniques, it can feel a bit overwhelming. Where should someone even start if they want to improve their communication and leadership skills?
You know, one thing I always suggest is to just pay attention to the great leaders, the ones you admire. What makes them so effective? Are they direct, empathetic? What's their style?
So it's like studying the masters and learning from the best.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to try different things. Play around with new vocabulary, different communication strategies, team building activities. See what clicks with your team and helps you reach your goals.
So it's about finding that perfect fit for your team's personality and goals.
Absolutely. So one last thought-provoking question for you. What's one communication strategy you can implement today to build a more collaborative team and really achieve those wins?
Maybe it's setting aside time for those regular check-ins, actively asking for feedback from your team, or even just taking a moment to acknowledge and celebrate everyone's contributions. No matter what you choose, remember that mastering the language of teamwork, well, that's a winning strategy in any field.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Even if you never coach a sports team, these insights can help you build better relationships, communicate more effectively, and find success in all areas of your life.
That's a wrap for a deep dive into the world of coaching and teamwork. We hope you've enjoyed the journey and come away with some valuable tools and a newfound appreciation for the power of communication. Until next time, keep playing, keep leading, and keep those conversations flowing.